my reset day usually looks like making a huge mess, pulling everything out, cleaning, and then reorganizing the mess that I just made. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna go ahead and open the doors and the windows and get some fresh air while the weather is still nice. And then we're gonna go ahead and jump into cleaning. to worry, I have shorts on underneath. I'm not being promiscuous. Dry brushing is actually like a new thing that I have just learned about. I just started doing it probably maybe a month or two ago, but basically I haven't done a whole lot of research. There's pretty much one video that like influenced me to get one, and I was like, yeah, I'll get that. So from what this girl said in her video, you just gently, like, I just use the weight of the brush and then you like pull towards your heart. And then I actually did look up like how many times you're supposed to do that, and it's like 6 times in each area. So I will say though that I have always been a person that had, like, some people call it chicken skin. I prefer to call it strawberry skin because that sounds a lot more cutesier. But basically it's just like these red bumps that pop up on your skin, and I've literally had that since I was in elementary school. Like, I remember being self-conscious about it that young, and I could never really get a hold of it. Like, I tried everything, like in high school. I was like, I'm exfoliating, I'm lotioning, like I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. And then I tried this dry brushing just because it was like something that I saw on the internet, and it has actually really helped. Like, the mix of using the dry brush and then also double cleansing my skin every time I'm in the shower. I never used to do that. And then also like staying on top of moisturizing, and it has really helped. I can't really tell a huge difference in like circulation. Like, I'm not sure if that's even something that you can like feel a difference in. As far as like skin tightness goes, like I can feel a real difference, especially in my legs. Like, my legs just look and feel a lot like softer and less flabby. So usually I do my self-care nights on Thursdays because that is when my favorite streamer is streaming. So I watch her stream, and then sometimes I'll like journal while I'm watching it. Sometimes I'll do this while I'm watching it, but at least once a week I'm getting some self-care time to where I'm like, okay, listen, I'm clocking out. After 7 p.m. like, I am not mommy, okay? So I also like to do this before I shave. Like, I feel like I always heard that you need to exfoliate before you shave, but I feel like dry brushing is like a really good way to get that done, which I've heard like different things before. Like, in the past I have heard that like exfoliate one day and then shave the next, but I find that just dry brushing before I shave makes a big difference in like how close my shave is. And that is another thing I didn't mention during the to-do list for the reset. I like to replace my razors like at least once a season. I used to be chronic, no replacing razors ever. If it's still cutting, then it's still good. But it's like it's like a toothbrush. Like, you don't realize like how bad of a job it's doing until you get a new one that actually does what it's supposed to do. And you're like, oh, okay, yeah. So as I've gotten older, that's like my razors, and then my like wash sponges, I replace those like all the time now. I wasn't really grossed out about stuff, and I don't know if it's just from like becoming a mom or just that frontal lobe developing. I swear last night I felt it update. Like, I literally said out loud in the kitchen by myself, I'm like, I can feel it developing, because I was like picking up my trash as I was making it, and like not just, no, I'm not gonna just stand here cooking. I can actually get stuff done while I'm waiting for it to cook. So, I don't know, man. I'm ready for that update, though. But I think that is it for dry brushing. So I just hop in the shower, do all my shower things. During my self-care days, though, I like to go ahead and just double cleanse everything. So I double cleanse my hair, I double cleanse my face, I double cleanse my body, and I usually end up running out of hot water, but it's worth it to have the squeaky clean feeling. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll get out and do skincare. I totally did not notice this when I bought it, even though it is literally on the box. But this razor came with like a little magnetic thing that you hang up in your shower. Oh my god. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. Oh, that is sticky. That is, be careful when you do it. That is sticky. That is the angle that it will be at now. Oh my god. I feel so much better. There's like, I wouldn't call it a meme, but it's like this post that I saw, thing along the lines of like, if you feel like you hate everybody, like you need to eat. If you feel like everybody hates you, you need to sleep. And if you feel like you're hating yourself, you need to take a shower. That is so real, because sometimes just showering, that can change my entire mood. So I just go in with some body butter after the shower. I try to do it like directly after the shower. Yeah, the other day I had gotten out of the shower and I was just getting dressed and I put socks on, and Ben's like, oh, like, why are you putting socks on? Where are you gonna go? I was like, no, I mean, I'm not going anywhere. It's just, I was like, not having socks on is literally like more indecent to me, or like feels more indecent than like not wearing a shirt. Like, I have to have socks on. Even if I'm like in the house by myself, I'm not dressed unless I have socks on. Also, this body butter, I got it from TJ Maxx, and I was talking to the lady at the checkout, and she's so sweet. And like, I know everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot of people will be like, oh, well, they just started sharing their life story with me and blah blah blah. Share your life story. Tell me everything. Tell me everything that you want to share with me. Like, I could not care less about you telling me your whole life story. I want to hear it. But she was telling me that that is the brand that she buys from. She's like, I used to buy the Gold Bond and like buy the really expensive stuff, but I switched to that. And she was like, and I have eczema, and it's done wonders. And I was like, heck yeah, like, I mean, I was already gonna get it, but you just sold me again. So, but I kind of felt bad because like it's TJ Maxx, so you have to be like in a certain state to be in TJ Maxx in general. And like, so much was going on, and I know that I was like distracted when she was talking to me, and I hope that I didn't come across like I didn't care, or like I was just like disregarding her. I felt bad after I left. I almost like walked back in and be like, I care about your eczema. Now, I might get some flack for my skincare routine. I wash my face with Children's body wash because it's just like everything else just broke me out. And I was like, I saw a post of a girl that's from my hometown, and she was like, I'm convinced that like all these brands are just like they make their product break you out or make you like reliant on their product so that you have to keep buying more. She was like, because tell me why I ran out of my face wash and I started using my daughter's body shampoo, and my face has looked the best that it's looked since I was like 10 years old. I was like, shut up, she's right. It's gentle, and it's like, it's not a skincare thing, so obviously do what works for you. But like, if you're having that problem like we did, like just everything you try is breaking you out no matter what you do, try a baby body wash. It works. And then I just go in with moisturizer and put chapstick on, and then I'm done. Like, I feel like the more steps that you have, which I might change my mind on this when I'm not like fresh faced and 20 something years old, but I feel like the more steps that you have, like, yeah, like what she was saying, like you get reliant on it, or like it breaks you out more. Like, I remember getting like super into skincare when I was like 18. Always had a problem with acne, but like I thought I was old enough, like I thought that this was not gonna be a problem. And so like I went to TJ Maxx and I got like all the stuff. I got the serums, I got the moisturizer, I got the face wash, I got all the things. And I stayed really consistent with it for 3 months, and I was like, my skin has never looked worse. Like, why am I breaking out so bad? And then I showed it to my friend who's an esthetician, and she's like, don't use this stuff. She's like, you need to like really be paying attention to the ingredients, especially if you're already like acne prone. I was like, oh, okay, well, I didn't know that. So yeah, that's pretty much all I do for like self-care, skincare, all that stuff. I'm gonna blow dry my hair and get dressed, and then we're gonna lock in and do some of like the reflecting and the goal setting and like all the other fun stuff. Like, that's why I like getting all of like the boring stuff out of the way first, because I really get to look forward to like the end of day, or like in this case like the end of the week, like whatever. But like, it's like a little treat, like a reward for doing all my hard work. So I'm gonna go blow dry my hair, and then we'll go to my desk. It's finally time for my favorite part of any reset, and that is the goal setting and reflections portion. This is something that I've just recently started doing, and I'm not even kidding, it has been such a huge game changer. So I'm really pretty excited to get into another round of reflecting and then making and revising my goals from the past quarter to the next quarter. So let's take a few minutes and do that. Now comes my absolute favorite part of any reset video, and that is the reflections, because I really feel like you can't grow and you can't move on if you're not being intentional with reflecting on where you've been, where you want to go, and it's something that I've started doing lately that I think has really benefited me and has kept me on track for really achieving my goals. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of my reflections that I had for this past quarter, kind of for this past year. For the first one, I have, what do I feel like I did well on? I really feel like I did well on adjusting to mom life and creating clearer goals and actually reaching them, and being intentional and mindful with my time and with my energy, and not just doom scrolling and wasting my life, wasting away my 20s, my youth, on things that I'm never gonna even remember. And I also think that I did pretty well on not caring what people think, which really helps when you're like just home alone all the time with a little kid. But I think that that is one thing that I did pretty well on. And then I wanted to reflect on some of the things that I think I need to work on. I really think I need to work on my consistency, my patience, and my gratitude. I feel like I used to really be intentional with my gratitude, and for that I was a lot happier and nicer of a person, and it's something that I stopped doing, and I can feel a huge difference in my negativity or positivity throughout the day. I can feel myself just being a lot more negative as a person, and I don't like being that way. So getting back into being grateful and reframing things to where I'm not the victim, kind of, even if like in the situation I am kind of the victim, or it was something that was out of my hands that I couldn't really control. It is in my power to reframe it and think of it like, how is this teaching me? How is this preparing me for something else in the future? How can I look at this in a good way? And my biggest challenge was probably letting go of what my life used to be and accepting that some people are lessons, and some people that you thought were going to be in your life for ever are just not. And that's okay. And some people are literally just introduced to your life to help you grow, and then you move on, and that's just life. 19-year-old Jenna would be in no way disappointed with who I am now, but she would be very surprised at where our life is, and I think that that is something really special to reflect on. And then, what habits created the most joy? I would say waking up early. There's just something about getting your day started when the sun comes up and having that time. This is not something that I chose for myself. This is something that was chosen for me, but I'm really grateful for it because I have seen the most sunrises in the past 10 months than I have probably in my entire life. So that's one like gratitude thing that I actually am really thankful for, is waking up early and keeping to-do lists. I cannot stress this enough. It doesn't even have to be a to-do list or anything with a checkbox, which, don't get me wrong, doing that little bit of checking things off and getting some dopamine, that helps tremendously. But just being able to write down everything that I have going on and like really visualize like, hey, today is going to be crazy packed, or today can be really relaxed and you can just not really worry about XYZ. You can just relax and take a breath. And then, what do I want the next quarter to look like? I kind of just sum these up in like one word phrases, but I want it to be peaceful and fulfilling and energizing and optimistic. I really want to focus on being optimistic and positive and letting go of a lot of that negativity that I was feeling. And then that is going to bring us to the goal setting portion, which is honestly pretty high up on my list of like things that I love to do. So I basically have this all on Notion. I love Notion. It's completely free. There's all these templates. It's been amazing, and it's been pretty much the only reason that I have been on top of my tasks lately. So I did want to choose a word for this year. I didn't set it at the beginning of the year, I just set it this quarter, which I mean, it's already May, but there's no time like the present. But the word that I wanted to choose for this year is growth. Obviously, my family is growing and I really want to focus on growing my platform and growing my community. So I think growth is a perfect way to sum all of that up. So we've got some goals. We've got my content creation goals, my family and home, and then self. And then I've got like my reading list and stuff like that. But for my content creation goals, I just want to be consistent and be mindful about my work and home. So I've got like posting once per week is really important to me right now. Filming twice a week is pretty important, whether that's like B-roll or a talking head, whatever. And then I have like growing my followers and subs, but really like that is more for like growing a community. Like if I had 15 super engaging followers that like I'm also involved in, know about things that are going on in their life and they're sharing with me as I'm sharing with them, that's more important. That's more of what I'm trying to cultivate with this channel. Keeping my area clean, that is huge, because if my area is a mess, like I can attest to this because the entire last week I did like a declutter kind of, so my entire house was an absolute wreck, which included my room and my like office space, and I haven't edited and I haven't recorded or anything like that. So obviously having my space nice and inviting and set up to be worked at is a huge indicator whether I'm going to be productive or not. So that is a huge goal for me. And then for family and home, we have to prep for baby number 2. And then I really want to be intentional with creating systems. So I hate steps. And if I have to get something from one room to take it to the next, to like basically if everything is not just pretty much packaged for me and ready to go, I'm just probably not going to do it. Like that's number one way for me not to do it. So I really want to be intentional with creating systems that work, and one-on-one time, that's like me and Ben, because I feel like the better that we get along, the better that the house runs. Then there's like just some here and there stuff like planning outfits and fun stuff like that. And then for myself, I really want to focus on my health and maintaining my hobbies and alone time. Like that's kind of all lumped together. All of this is like, and also making space for unproductive rest. Like all of that is very health focused for me, because especially if you're in charge of other people and it's basically your job to make sure that everyone else's life is running right, you get behind and you don't find as much time for yourself as you would like to. So I heard somewhere that the number one indicator that a child will be like successful and happy is like how well the mom takes care of herself, because the mom is the emotional powerhouse of the cell. Like it's basically mom's emotions that kind of running the entire house. And so if I feel like I'm pouring from an empty cup, or I'm feeling overstimulated, or like I just can't give anymore, then that affects everybody. That doesn't just affect me. So it might feel selfish to me to make time for these things, but I know in the long run it's not, because you can't pour from an empty cup. And so having your alone time and your time to just be yourself, and making time to maintain your hobbies, and also making space for unproductive rest. So that means like being able to be on my phone or literally napping without waking up in a sweat thinking, oh, I need to go do the dishes, I need to go clean, I need to do this, this, and this. It's making that space for the unproductive rest so that whenever I am being productive, it doesn't affect my rest later. I think that that is basically it for the goal setting and intention setting for this quarter. I'm really excited for the next quarter because I will finally have my body back, so I can be more specific on the health goals, like taking care of my aging body and just making time to kind of bounce back. I'm just having such a great time making these videos, and it's a really great outlet for me. Like, that's the main reason that I started doing it, was just because it's a good way for me to be creative and also kind of document my 20s. It's something that I have, whenever I was like 19-ish, I was posting videos to YouTube, and I remember saying, like, this is for me and it's not for anybody else, and it's basically just to look back on my life in a cool way. I think that it still resonates with me. Even at 19, I was like, I was born to create. Like, it doesn't really matter. Well, not that it doesn't matter, but it ebbs and flows on what medium I'm creating with. So sometimes it is videos, and then sometimes it's music, and then art, and it's always going to be ever changing and ebb and flow just like everything else. If you made it to this point in the video, thank you so much for sticking around and keeping me company, and I will see you next week. Okay, cool, love you, bye.